I'm Reva Goujon, and this is what you can expect for 2018. The window for a preventative strike against North Korea is rapidly closing, and that means that the US is going to probably have to adopt a policy of containment toward the Hermit Kingdom. That entails building up its missile defenses in the region, which in turn undermines Russia's and China's nuclear shield, and that is one area of many where Russia and China are increasingly collaborating to challenge the United States. As the US becomes more aware of that emerging threat coming from Russia and China, it'll be pursuing a containment strategy against the two Asian giants, which means those borderland states anywhere from Ukraine to Taiwan could come into play. Now, despite the North Korea crisis, South Korea, Japan, nor China will be spared from the US's trade attacks. The US is pursuing a more unilateral course in trade in pursuing its protectionist agenda, but it's not going to trigger a global trade war, nor are we likely to see a complete collapse of the WTO as a global trade governing institution. Instead, we're likely to see more selective trade measures both within and outside of the bounds of the WTO. And when it comes to revisiting trade negotiations, the trade negotiation that the US has with South Korea may have a higher risk of the US walking away than it does with NAFTA, where even if we do see a unilateral repeal of NAFTA by the president in the United States, we are still likely to see congressional and legal checks come into play to prevent that trade pact's total collapse. When North Korea is able to demonstrate that it has achieved a viable nuclear deterrent, the US administration will be that much more resolved to prevent another North Korea in Iran. And that's where we see the United States, alongside Saudi Arabia and Israel, pursue a much more aggressive strategy against Iran in the region. That will take place in a host of proxy wars, not conventional wars, and will include targeting proxies like Hezbollah. Now, that also puts the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, in jeopardy, but Iran is not going to be the one to walk away from that deal. It can still rely on European backing, as well as Russia, which stands to benefit from this fissure. Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, will be making incremental progress in domestic reforms while working toward its goal of rebalancing the global oil market in 2018. Now, as major producers near the expiration of a deal to limit their production, that burden is going to fall to Saudi Arabia as well as Russia to limit their own production as well as counteract a supply risk that they face from an expected rise in U.S. shale production.